I want to show you how quickly you can build a data pipeline just with a few simple prompts. And for my example, I'm actually going to grab it straight out of the website of Alteryx. So maybe you've heard of Alteryx before, maybe you have Alteryx seats. I'm not sure what your affinity towards it is, but from our perspective, we notice that a lot of enterprises are looking to move away from desktop solutions. What you see on the screen right now is an example of one of the use cases, one of the challenges that people put together. This use case is one that's, medium complexity. Basically, you're an analyst. You need to do a little bit of analysis into why banks have failed over time. Alteryx will give you the 2 sample data sets. Go ahead and accomplish these 2 tasks over here. Figure out the number of days a bank has existed for, and then also determine which bank failed in the shortest amount of time. Now, within Alteryx, this would be like a drag and drop solution. Within Prophecy, I want to show you that I can do all this, get my answers, and do more in just a few minutes. So what I'll do first is I'm actually just going to copy this prompt, go straight into Prophecy, and just pop it directly into my agent here. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I could just use Claude to do this, right? Well, one thing about Claude is that it's actually quite non-deterministic. You can have the same prompt 10 times, and it can potentially come up with 10 different approaches to try to figure out the answer. And you might get the same answer 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 times, but as an analyst that's actually having to make business decisions, that's not really acceptable. With Prophecy, what we've done is we've trained our agent, our Prophecy agent, directly on top of Claude. We've given it its specialized list of skills to make sure that everything it produces follows our definition of standardized high-quality code. So that's what our agent is doing right now. In fact, our agent is doing a number of things. Notice here that I gave it a prompt, but I didn't really tell it or give it any kind of clues as to what data sources to use. That's because our agent is intelligent enough to go through Unity Catalog as well as any other data sources that I permit it to see. So if I take a look over here, I can actually go ahead and see all the different data sources that I'm currently connected to. What the Prophecy agent is doing is it's actually just going through all of the different data sets that I have connected to. So this is all governed and defined by Unity Catalog. That's great. My agent can only read and write to tables that actually exist and I have access to. But if I wanted to, I could connect it to more data. So it's not just limited to reading and writing data inside Unity Catalog. I can connect it to external on-prem or even cloud-based databases or data warehouses. But more commonly, we can also connect directly into file storage systems. This is Excels or CSV files that's living inside your SharePoint, shared drive, even your shared network drive. We don't really care. At the end of the day, we can connect to whichever data source you want us to do. Our agent is simply just reading the metadata to understand what's inside each of these files. No need to read any data at all. Now, what's going on the left-hand side, though, is really interesting because what we've done over here is we've integrated Claude into our solution. But we're not just producing code. We want to give you the answer, but we want to give you an answer that you can verify visually, and that's what's being produced over here. You'll notice that within the screen, our agent has generated a couple of these different components. The Prophecy lingo for these is they're called gems. Within the world of Alteryx, you may know them as tools. Each one of these gems you see here represents a step within the data transformation process, right? So you're reading it from left to right. Now, when I get my answers at the end of the day, I can also verify step by step what Prophecy did in order to accomplish this task. It knew that in order to get me the answer for which bank failed in the shortest amount of time, I had to read data from these 2 different data sets. I had to then join the data together and then accomplish all of these following steps that you see over here. And for those of you who don't want to actually go into each of these gems, you can still drag and drop and do all of this within here. But what I like to do is I like to just have Prophecy explain the pipeline for me. So it's given me the answer. I wanted to actually explain the pipeline just from this perspective as well. You can see that what Prophecy does, we already have the metadata. We already see the code. It's not very difficult for us to generate a high-level summary as well as a gem-by-gem or a step-by-step description of what this pipeline actually does. You can see on the left-hand side, I have my answer over here. The original Alteryx question was find me the bank that failed in the shortest amount of time. Waterford Village Bank is the name of the bank. It only lasted for about 879 days. If I wanted to now examine this pipeline and see what the data actually looks like, I certainly can. All of these components are easily executable, and all it's doing is it's sending SQL code directly to your SQL warehouse. I can open up the preview of this, do a little bit of analysis into my sample data that I see here. I can take a look at some expanded profiling to see any kind of data quality issues like missings or nulls, and I can deal with it just using my AI platform right here. So far so good. I was able to accomplish this task in just a single prompt. A minute and a half is all I need. Let's just say that now that I'm taking a look at this graph or this sample output, I can see that for all the banks that have failed, I can also see the states that they belonged in, as well as their acquiring institution. So why don't we actually try this? Let's go ahead and add an additional prompt. And I'm just going to take this prompt I have here. I want it now to show me the top 10 acquiring institutions and give me a bar chart, and also show me the failed banks and group it into 4 major geographic regions. And I'm going to just let Claude define that geographic region for me. I'm pretty sure it's smart enough to do that. And exactly what you have going on here, what the agent is doing, is it's comprehending the intent, but it's doing something more than just building a pipeline. This part is a little bit underrated. It's also doing unit tests. So some of you data engineers are familiar with doing unit tests and data tests. We want to make sure that what we produce actually turns out a result. So that's exactly what the agent is trained to do. We've included our skills that teach it how to do unit testing on the fly. It knows how to generate these unit tests to make sure every single one of these gem components you see here actually produces a result. And as you can see here, it compiled successfully. You see these additional results. Once it finishes testing, it's also going to display the answers over here as well. While this is thinking, one thing I want to show you, I want to go directly into the code. I did mention earlier that Prophecy is an open source solution. This means that all the code that we've been generating underneath the hood is open source code. We're just using DBT Core as the build. We don't use DBT Cloud because that costs money, and you would have to pay that. We use DBT Core because it's free and it's portable. I know that some of you might be thinking about using Lakeflow Designer, using Spark Declarative Pipelines. Fantastic tool, I'm pretty sure. But when Databricks announced Lakeflow Designer, it simply just affirmed what we've been doing for 10 years already. And we've been working directly with the end users, the business users. They like to see this kind of user interface. They want to have it portable as well, so they don't get locked into one particular cloud data warehouse. DBT is DBT. I can run this on a variety of data warehouses such as BigQuery or Redshift if I wanted to as well. So going back into the visual, I was able to produce the additional pipelines. It was able to answer for me the questions. I did say I wanted to see it in a bar chart and a pie chart as well. So if I switch over to this tab over here, what it's going to show me is just a live dashboard that's running directly against data living in my warehouse or my external sources as well. Okay, so this is really cool. It's an agentic data prep solution. I just typed in 2 prompts and was able to build all of this code, these nice visuals. If I wanted to do additional changes, it's always just a matter of drag and drop. You have the visual workflows that you can still drag and drop directly into in order to make edits and fine-tune customizations. Everything is going to be integrated into your existing enterprise tech stack, meaning that it checks directly into your Git. It's open source. You're not locked in with any particular vendor. We have the complete data lifecycle. And if you have to import any existing workflows to get out of like existing contracts for legacy ETL tools, we're here to help as well.